previously on NBA Today, and we show you saying that there's no way that the Lakers are going to win that Game 5?
Yeah, this is the time. Roll the clip.
You did say that on the show yesterday, and it was in large part because they picked up right where they left off, Houston did, with that three-point shooting that we saw in Game 4, DG.
Yeah, I mean, they penetrated, kicked, found each other, was in rhythm, confident, taking the shots, making the shots.
Josh Okogie for three. That one is good as well. And then later in the second here, Shepherd drives, gravity, kicks it out to Tari Eason in the corner for three.
Tari Eason been playing some hell of a basketball over these last two games. And by the way, Reed Shepherd did an excellent job of being the floor general last night.
But things still got tight in the fourth quarter. And let's just remind everyone, Game 3, this is when LeBron James, he picked Reed Shepherd's pocket. And then that led to the game-tying three to force overtime. They did not want history to repeat itself. So 3 minutes left in the fourth, Lakers down 5. LeBron James drives.
Okay.
High off the glass. And then he spots Reed Shepherd, giving him a little bump there on the drive back. But on the very next possession, Reed Shepherd, he almost loses it. But gets to that midi spot instead.
No, not tonight.
Rockets back up by 5. And then the next possession here, it's LeBron who's bringing the ball up here.
How the tables have turned.
Repaying the favor the other day.
Let me get my lick back.
Call the cops. We got a thief out there.
Not letting the King intimidate him on that play. And then under 2 minutes to go, the Rockets at 5. Tari Eason drives. And Austin Reeves here, an offensive foul was called. The Rockets, they would end up challenging it, and they determined that Reeves was not in legal guarding position, so Eason would head to the free throw line. He made both free throws. It's a 7-point game. LeBron dribbles it up. He takes a three. He wasn't making them last night, and he didn't start at the end. Jabari Smith secures the board, so Houston gets the win, and afterwards I caught up with Alperen Sengun on their mentality going forward. How much confidence do you have heading into this Game 6?
Everybody feeling amazing. You know, nobody's tired. Today, everybody showed it. And we're going in front of our family, fans, you know. Hopefully, it's going to be a lot of people out there. And, you know, we're going to protect home and come back here for Game 7.
Listen, it's one game. You give credit where credit is due. They've played well the last 2 games, exceptionally well. And we've got to answer the call. I mean, it's the next game. And try to flush this one. Obviously, we got to learn from our mistakes. I think we made some mistakes tonight. Too many unforced mistakes. You know, so we got to be better on Friday.
All right, so no travel booked to Oklahoma just yet. The series, it's headed back to Houston. And the Rockets, they're just the 16th team to force a Game 6 after being down 3-0 and look to become the 5th team ever to force a Game 7 in that scenario. So, Mr. Perkins, you called this one. How have the Rockets turned the series around?
You damn right I called it, Malika, and I was right, like I'm always right.
You started on that a little too much.
Because here's the fact. Houston Rockets have found their identity on the defensive side. Back-to-back games holding the Los Angeles Lakers under 100 points. And I want you to look at these plays, but I want you to watch Reed Shepherd because they have been trying to target him and search him out. He has been doing an outstanding job of holding his ground and getting into the fight. I want you to watch him get into the legs of Rui and then watch the awareness of Alperen Sengun anchoring the defense from stopping the layup, and then all of a sudden you make them take a tough contested three-point shot. They box out, rebound, get a stop there going the other way. Here it is, late in the fourth quarter, 2:29 to go. Reed Shepherd again, they're trying to search him out to get the mismatch so that LeBron James can attack him. All of a sudden, he makes a gamble, gets the steal, he's headed the other way, and he elevates for the dunk. Last night, the Lakers went 3 for 13 trying to target Reed Shepherd as the primary defender, and it did not work.
Well, when you look at the Lakers here, the points allowed against Los Angeles, they have really started to tighten up here lately. And there's a lot to unpack when you look at the reasons why, Danny.
Yeah.
What are you seeing here from the Rockets?
I mean, they're just collectively playing a better floor game, like Perk said. You know, Sengun, they've been struggling the point guard position. You know, the biggest issue with the Lakers was the traps. Sengun handled the double teams a lot better last night. Even had 5 turnovers. They played a better.
8 assists.
Reed Shepherd, he had 8 assists. he was playmaking, doing all those things, and scoring at the same time. So shout out to them. And they made shots. They shot 35 from 3 or plus,
and
35.
That's a big difference. It feels like the shooting for the Los Angeles Lakers, Luke Kennard and Marcus Smart, through the first 2 games, they were 20-point-a-game scorers, and they were very confident in that. And all of a sudden, the tables have turned, where the Rockets have started to hit those open shots. Ime had always said that he liked the looks that the Rockets were getting, but now all of a sudden they're hitting those looks. So we know, our Shams Charania reported earlier today, there's not going to be a Kevin Durant. He's not coming back for Game 6. He still has that ankle injury. But it's starting to feel like, could the Lakers be in trouble here, Perk?
They are in trouble.
Yeah.
They are in trouble. And matter of fact, the Rockets are going to win this series.
Ooh.
Everything right now, the Rockets.
Wow.
The Rockets.
Wow.
Yes.
History.
Yes, making history. And I'm sorry because Braun is going to be on the wrong side of it. But right now in this series, it favors the Rockets. When you think about the youth that they have, and now you're looking at the scheduling, right? You're looking at the age of a LeBron James. They play Friday night. They have a 3.5-hour plane ride. They lose 2 hours. Did you see Amen Thompson last night? He played 45 minutes and looked like he could have played another game.
And you know what Alperen Şengün said in that post-game interview with me? He said, we're not tired.
They're not.
He
Feel
made a point
amazing.
in saying that.
Listen, I love that they have better chances. They are playing better. Lakers look tired. LeBron does look tired. But 159 teams have never won coming down 3-0. I don't see them being...
Well, guess what? We're in 2026, and I'm going to tell you something about this Rockets team that I'm watching. Not only are they playing for the name on the front of the jersey, but they're playing for the names on the back of their jerseys. And this Rockets team is not only here to prove to the world that they could complete the mission, they're proving and sending a message to Kevin Durant as well that's saying, we want to get it done because we want to show you and the rest of the world that we don't need you right now to get this done.
So if the Lakers are going to win this series, they have 2 games to win 1. Is it going to come down to hitting shots that they couldn't, we didn't even mention, they did get Austin Reeves back in this game. What's it going to come down to for LA?
He needs another game. He needs to get his rhythm. Obviously, Luke Kennard has to play better. I think he needs more usage.
All right.
And as much as Rockets want to send a message, you know LeBron James is going to send a message as well. J.J. Redick is going to send a message also. They're going to be way more prepared they are for Game 6 than they were at Game 5. Their intensity, their level of focus. LeBron James, he has beat Father Time and time again. I don't think he's going to allow fatigue to set in Game 6 and allow this group to outrun them again.
But you're saying getting Luke Kennard involved, but how? When the athleticism of the Houston Rockets then kicked in. This is back-to-back games where he's been held under 10 points. You were saying Marcus Smart be better. Can he go out and get a 20-point performance? I think when you look at this series, yes, J.J. Redick, he started off, he was coaching his ass off, coaching circles around Ime. Ime started making adjustments, and now he's getting the best of his team. Okogie coming in, playing big minutes. We saw Finney Smith come in yesterday and hit some big-time threes. All of a sudden,
he was hitting his shot. It was the best game offensively that he's had in this series. But now I think for the one outstanding for Los Angeles, LeBron James has yet to have a big game. And you mentioned the lack of threes, the lack of dunks, maybe pointing to some fatigue for him. But still, LeBron James
it's going to be fired up in H-Town come Friday, I'll tell you that.
Can we take a trip to Cleveland here, Perk?
Why not? We might end up back, we're probably going to end up back there soon.
Evan Mobley and Dennis Schroeder, they earned it, right? A late charge for Schroeder and the Cavs. They pushed the Raptors to the brink of extinction. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. All right, 4 minutes left in the first quarter. James Harden shoots, can't get it there, but Mobley there for cleaning it up.
I love the call. He answered the call. Him and Jared Allen. Jared Allen's blocking shots. Evan Mobley knocking down threes, playing defense, pushing the break.
Unfortunately,
slow Euro.
Injuries have been a part of this postseason. And Brandon Ingram, you see him just tweak his heel there. He left. He didn't return to the game. Cookies here for Jacoby Walters going coast to coast.
Ooh, body game.
That was such a lazy pass, though.
Body game.
The Raptors not going away. A minute into the fourth quarter, Jalen Tyson gets it in the corner.
Oh.
Knocks down the three.
Tough bucket.
Dennis Schroeder passes to Mobley, same corner.
Yeah.
The crowd is loving it.
Don't game plan for that. You don't game plan for Evan Mobley threes.
And then midway through the fourth quarter, Dennis Schroeder knocks down the three.
Not go under. Not go under the screen.
He said something, I'm not going to say what he said, but he spoke at length, probably for about 2 or 3 minutes at halftime, just about what he saw and what we could have done better as a group. And then after the game, we were like, damn, I guess you were just talking to yourself.
Well, yeah, because he took over. So he gives a speech at halftime, and Schroeder helps power Cleveland to take a 3-2 series lead in this game. So Cleveland, they looked shaky at times early on, but they ended the game on a little cavalanche to take a 3-2 series lead. Cleveland outscored Toronto 32-18 in the final 14 minutes of that game, knocked down nearly as many threes as the Raptors had field goals during that run. And Cleveland notched their first playoff win when trailing by entering the fourth quarter since Game 1 of the conference finals against the Raptors. That was 2018. So, Perk, you were chilling on the bench at that point?
Yeah. I was
all right.
averaging 1,500 claps.
Yeah, 1,500 claps a game.
I was doing a great job. I was a star in my role.
And that is very important. Can you be a star in your role here and tell me what your key takeaway is from this Game 5? You're always a star in your role
the big man, Malika.
Okay.
I got to go with Evan Mobley. He is the most important player on this squad.
And you've been asking for it.
And look, he had that balance last night of being a big man with guard skills. And I love when he's attacking downhill with authority. We saw that. And here's a few examples right here. Not doing too much, hanging out around the dunker spot, having 2 feet in the paint, being ready to catch and finish, not hanging out in the perimeter. And then all of a sudden what you see is we're watching one of the most skilled bigs in the game. And what can he do best? What can he do also, DJ and Malika? He can stretch the floor. 3 big three-point shots in the fourth quarter that were huge. He was 3 for 3 from the field, and they needed every single one of them. Yeah. He just have to be consistent night in and night out.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Schroeder, shout out to Evan Mobley, had big fourth quarters.
Yeah, huge.
But Cleveland is in trouble.
What you mean?
If you're relying on Evan Mobley in this series, this is going 7. And if you let those young boys, which they do right now, they have a lot of confidence. CMB didn't play his best game, but Jacoby Walters came out to play. He's finally out that cold slump. I don't know what Scotty Barnes' injury is. B.I. has a heel thing.
It's a thigh bruise.
He'll be ready.
He's going to be ready. Lights, camera, action. They're going to be in the city in Toronto. You know the fans are going to get upset. They're going to win that Game 6. It's going to 7. But you let them come to that confidence, and you don't see James Harden and Donovan Mitchell in that fourth quarter. Last night, they have a fourth quarter like that again. They could be going home in the
I believe I'm with you. It will go 7. I'm looking at big picture. And if you're the Cavs, you walk away from, you got to take the win, but you're not happy about it. Yeah. You can't give up 120 points in regulation at the crib. At some point, this team got to have an identity defensively if they're trying to get to where they're trying to go. And we know they're trying to get to the promised land.
So both of you all have this going the distance.
7.
Yeah, I got to go on
7 games, and it starts in the 6 for 6. All right, we have got... In Detroit, Perk, the Stars, they showed up. Paolo Banchero, Cade Cunningham, they were dueling. It was a must-win game for the #1 seed, and they delivered. Remember, following a disappointing performance after Game 4, Pistons head coach J.B. Bickerstaff had this to say about how his team would respond.
Come out punching. You know, that I promise you. You know, we're not going to lay down for anybody.
And they didn't. Tobias Harris misses the jumper here, but Asar Thompson right there to clean it up. See if you can identify this trend here early, guys. Cade misses with beef stew.
Offensive rebound.
Right there for the O board.
Bully ball.
And then Dennis Jenkins, he misses.
The man's game.
Corrals it with the jam. Yeah, 7 offensive boards. Led to 12 first quarter points. Second chance points there for the Pistons. And then Cade had it going here in the second.
He did. He went live. 3-level score, Malika. And you could tell he watched film because he came off the worst playoff game of his young career in Game 4, and he bounced back in great fashion.
And he scored 20 of Detroit's 28 second quarter points on 71% shooting, no less. So Detroit up 6 at the halftime. But we said this was a duel. Paolo Banchero.
Better get a hand up.
Steps back.
Listen, I criticized Paolo a lot throughout the course of the regular season, but this postseason, he has really, really elevated his game. And last night, this is when you want to see him the most. On the road, in a hostile environment, going toe-to-toe.
He had 45 points in this game, but Cade Cunningham.
Nah, this is my city, though.
There's the dagger.
Go to Cade.
Snatch back.
Let's take a listen to Cade on if he felt pressure after Game 5.
We all felt it. You have to feel it. We've had a great season so far. None of us want it to end. So, you know, you got to put it all out there. We dug ourselves a hole, like I said. And, you know, now it's time to climb our way out. But it's possible. We handle our business tonight. We got to go to Orlando and handle our business there.
So Cade Cunningham, Paolo Banchero, they put on a classic in Game 5. They each scored a playoff career high of 45 points, and they're the first pair of opponents to do that since Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray did it in the bubble. Although, if I remember correctly, they had dueling 50
balls.
pieces. That was an insane game. But this one was as well. I will point out, no Franz Wagner, right? That he's been the Cade stopper, and so that may prove to be a issue for the Magic moving forward. But you said, Perk, that this reminded you of another epic battle that you experienced.
It did. In 2008 semifinals, Paul Pierce, LeBron James, Game 7 in the Boston toe-to-toe. I believe Bron had like a 40-point, almost triple-double. Paul Pierce went out there and had, I believe, 45, and they was going toe-to-toe. And I just remember Paul coming in saying, I always protect my house. You ain't getting the win up in here. You know what I mean? And that's the feel that I got last night watching that game with Cade and Paolo, because Paolo came in there and he did what he was supposed to do. He came in there and did what a young rising star, superstar is supposed to do, and Cade responded and did what he was supposed to do, and that you got to protect your crib, and he did that.
Cade certainly did. Jalen Duren, though, is still struggling a bit in this series, Danny.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take more of guys kind of involving him in other ways. They got to get him on the glass, doing the dirty work, and not thinking about the game. The moment's got a hold of him right now. Takes time. Shout out to the San Antonio Spurs and Tim Duncan. Like, my leaders, they did a job of talking me out of the moment and making me not be distracted by social media or the media. You know, Timmy, I knew he knew the plays well enough, but in the finals, his teammate texted, where am I supposed to go on this play? Knowing damn well he knows where he's supposed to go, but it had me just thinking and locked in on the challenge at hand and the task that I didn't even worry about the finals or the lights. So if he can get his teammates to be involved or be like integrate him in conversations and also involve him in offenses, it might let him think about the game less and just be more in the moment. So.
And it's the little things for a big man like Jalen Duren. Real talk. It's the little things, Malika, because it's obvious that he's not going to score a lot of points because the game plan is, they didn't completely, and that's okay, but it's other ways to be effective with that type of size and athleticism. Go be a monster on the glass. Go block 3 or 4 shots. Also, don't slip and roll so quick out of your screens. How about holding your screens a little longer so that Cade and Duncan Robinson could come off and all of a sudden they're getting wide open looks and now you're rolling to the basket looking for offensive rebounds. At this point, there's 6 games in. There's no more, we got to find a way to get Jalen Duren going. No, how can we utilize and maximize? I used to do that for KD and Russ all the time. I knew I wasn't rolling to the basket to receive a ball, so I used to always hold my screens and let them come off, snake action, so they could get into their offense.
But that story is really interesting, Danny, that Tim Duncan would just text you because he wanted to keep you, locked in and engaged.
Yes, not thinking about the game. He was like, hey, in this play.
Do you think that's what Jalen Duren needs? Is that a lack of, obviously there's not Hall of Famers there yet, but in the future there could be.
You got some vets there. You got Tobias Harris there, but Cade, Tobias, those guys need to take him under their wing and just kind of said, give him some simple things that he can just focus on. Because I feel like he's overthinking it right now, and the moment is getting a hold of him, and he's not showing up. Again, he can block shots. He can even get some hard fouls. He can do something that impacts the game with your presence. Be big out there. If you be big, it'll change the whole dynamic of this series if he shows up.
Coming back from down 3-1, it's not impossible. The Pistons have done it against the Magic before, but it is an incredibly tall task. I'm looking forward to the playoffs. The Nuggets, they are still there, standing on the edge, on the brink of elimination. They're going to need a win tonight for Minnesota, in Minnesota, for the first time to force the series to 7 games. Now, the Wolves, they've held strong at home, but they remain shorthanded in Game 6. So let's say hello to Anthony Slater, who is covering this series for us. And we know, Slater, that they were able to win. Denver was this previous game without Aaron Gordon, but he is so very important to them. What's his prognosis for tonight's Game 6?
They're listing him as questionable again, which I think this is about the 5th straight game. I'd lean towards doubtful. He was out here on this court yesterday after practice getting, I would say, some light shooting in. Every time I've seen him in this series, it's been very tentative movement. Even, he played Game 4 here and warmed up pregame, and there was no burst to his warm-up. And you even saw it in the game, 23 minutes. David Adelman says he's laboring. I just think it's risky to put him on the floor, number one, for his long-term health, but also number 2, if they are to get beyond this series, they don't need a laboring Aaron Gordon against the Spurs. They need Aaron Gordon against the Spurs. So I think it's possible they just sit him and hope they can win the series without him. And I will say quickly on the Minnesota side, Ayo Dosunmu, I actually popped up as questionable for the Wolves with his own calf issue, and that's something to watch. He had 43 in Game 4 here.
Yeah, Ayo Dosunmu not being able to go for Minnesota, essentially they'd be without their 3 top guards, and that would be a huge blow for them, which brings us to they don't want this thing to go 7. They want to get this thing done. And yes, I know they have gone back to Denver. They've won in Denver a Game 7 last season, but that was with Anthony Edwards and company. That's not the case this time. So what's their mentality going into this game?
Yeah, Dante DiVincenzo was at shoot-around this morning, kind of strolling on a scooter, you'd say. I'm sure that lifted spirits to a degree. They're obviously very shorthanded, but they're at home. And, this team without DiVincenzo and Edwards in the second half of that Game 4 outscored the Nuggets 62-42. This is the type of crowd that really gives them a lift, and I think Jaden McDaniels more than anybody might need it. I was in Denver the other night. He was getting what I would call the Draymond Green treatment from the road crowd. I mean, it was that level of boos every time he touched the ball and, in warm-ups, and it's obviously not something he's used to. Mike Conley said he told McDaniels on the bench, hey, like the amount of hate that you're getting tonight, you're going to get 10 times the love in Minnesota come Game 6, and I thought he had his worst game of the series in Game 5, so he needs to bounce back, and I think the crowd will try to lift him to that tonight.
Yeah, this feels as much of a must-win as it can for Minnesota at home in this Game 6. Slater, thank you so very much for that insight, and I think you're absolutely right. Unfortunate injury news. It really has been a huge part of what's defined this series, but there's certainly still star power. There's guys who are stepping up in their role and filling the void. So, Danny, when you're looking at this matchup, what is the key player that you have your eye on?
I'm looking at Rudy. And if Minnesota wants to survive or have a chance of closing this series out, it's going to rely on him. And those have seen in the past, when Jokic plays one-on-one and scores a lot, Denver, in general, as a team, doesn't play well.
Yeah.
So Rudy's going to have to take on that matchup. Not just him, can't put it all on him, Naz Reid, Julius Randle. But it's got to be a one-on-one situation. Rudy's got to be protective of that rim like he was the other games where he held them to like 60 points in the paint. Last game, 86 points, a 20-point difference is a big jump. So as you see right here, we've gone on this before in the past. Rudy, one-on-one, Jokic at his best, or Minnesota's at their best defense, but not letting guys cut and get layups. So Jokic likes to get that left shoulder. He likes to get in the paint. Rudy knows that. He's just shading him to his left hand as much. He won't go left. Comes back to that right. Fatigue sets in a little bit too. This is fourth quarter. This is crunch time. Usually Jokic gets these baskets. Again, Rudy's got him one-on-one. Forces him off the block a little bit. Makes him catch a little further. Staying his ground. Shading him. Playing that right hand some. Know he wants to get to the middle to that right hand. Trying to get him go left. Jokic doesn't do it. Pump fakes. Spins back. High contest shot. This is where you're at your best and you have your most advantage or chances at staying in the game, because defensively, you guys are decent. They're only good on offense. Denver struggles defensively. You can get whatever you want against their defense, but on offense, like you said, against when Denver's playing offense, you got to hold them to under 120 points if you can. That's the only way they have a chance at getting this series or winning this series anyway. Well, I know you give me that face.
That was cute. That was a great breakdown. Shout out to Rudy. But this is all about the greatness of Jokic right now. Top 10 center of all time, and the stage.
You better show it.
Well, is he ready to dance? Like, when you talk about Jokic and we talk about a guy that's considered top 10, he got to be able to go win these next 2 games.
Yeah.
No Anthony Edwards, no Dante. So you got to go out there and deliver. I understand you're going against a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, but damn it, it's time for you to set. This is a legacy moment. He's coming up on his 100th game of his playoff career. Look at these numbers, Malika. Nobody has done this throughout this span.
That's remarkable.
It's ridiculous. But on the flip side of it, I want you to look at this side of things, like Danny was just talking about. He's been struggling in this series, right? When you look at his points per game, the lowest since 2020. Field goal percentage, 42% from the field. He's struggling in that department. And then three-point percentage, he's shooting 19% from the field.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Jokic and we're talking about legacy, because legacies are made in the postseason, and I'm not taking anything away from him, but we're talking about a guy that's a top 10 center that's trying to continue to add to his legacy. And over the last 3 years, you think about second-round exit, and now on the verge of being a first-round exit. It can't happen, especially without Anthony Edwards being on the floor.
Yeah, it's the injuries that have really piled up for the Timberwolves here. And we know that, once again, the Wolves are the Eastern Conference.
That's what we want.
All 4 of them going at least 6 games here. Do you think the 76ers can push it to a Game 7 here, sir?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Well,
I hope so. I hope so.
He's thinking with his heart, his former Sixers heart, because he knows this stat. He knows that the Boston Celtics are in Philly looking to close them out, and he knows that this is actually a good sign for the Celtics because look at this. They have a better record on the road during the playoffs under head coach Joe Mazzulla than they do at home. And so maybe this is the time here for the Boston Celtics. As we say hello to Tim Bontemps, who is in the city of brotherly love for this one. Tim, we just saw the numbers about how the Celtics are better on the road than they are at home here. What should we be watching for in this Game 6?
Well, Malika, the thing that's going to decide this game is the thing that's decided the first 5 games, and it's shot making, and particularly the jump shooting of the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, we talk a lot about the Celtics' three-point shooting and how it tends to dictate how they play, but the way this series has gone, the competitive games have been the games the Sixers have made jumpers. That's games 2, 3, and the Game 5 win they had in Boston the other night. If the Sixers can come out tonight in Game 6 and make shots and get this home crowd energized, they're at least going to give themselves an opportunity, like they did in Game 3, to have a chance to win this game in the fourth quarter and send the series back to Boston for what would be a very tense Game 7 on Saturday night. But if the Sixers get off to a slow start, like they did in Game 4, like they did in Game 1, and they let Peyton Pritchard and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown get going from the three-point line and build an early lead, I think this thing could turn into an avalanche like it did in Game 4, and the Sixers could see their season yet again end on their home court. Now, Malika, the Celtics have a chance to not only knock the Sixers out of the playoffs, it'll be the 4th time in Joel Embiid's career he will have lost to the Boston Celtics in a playoff series, and it will be the 7th time in a row the Celtics have won the longest rivalry in NBA playoff history, going all the way back to 1982. So a lot of history on Boston's side in this matchup. We'll see if they can continue that with a winning Game 6 tonight. Yeah, this is certainly one that has a lot of – there's some bad blood between these two teams, but it's also a lot of fun to watch these two play. We'll see if the Celtics can get it done on the road where they like to be. Tim Bontemps, enjoy the game, and we will continue to check in with you either way with this series.
Go! Jalen Johnson out defending. On Brunson. Showing the move. Showing the work. Step 3, 4, 2. You saw at the start of Game 4. Towns over Kuminga. 4-3. Too much space there by Kuminga. Working nice and Daniels. He's feeling it too. He is absolutely feeling it. And one.
Yeah, Melo loves it. Another 30-piece for the captain.
How about the Knicks? They're on the verge of winning a first-round series for the 4th straight season. That's something that the franchise hasn't done since the Ewing era when they won 9 straight. But they're going to have to get it done on the road in Atlanta, where the Hawks will look for some, magic in their city. As we say hello to Vince Goodwill, who's in Atlanta with the dance team behind him. I hope this means we're going to get a show. We got Knicks-Hawks Game 6 tonight, Vince. What are the Knicks saying about closing out this series?
I don't know what type of show you're talking about from me, but as far as the Knicks, Malika, I asked Mike Brown in the aftermath of Game 5 about closing out this series, and he said, you know what, these playoff series are so physical. You want to get as much rest as possible when you look around the league. 3 Game 6s tonight. If the Knicks and Celtics advance, Game 1 of that series will be Saturday afternoon. Not a lot of turnaround time for a guy like Josh Hart, who has a lower back contusion. So it will behoove the Knicks to not go into a Game 7 because you might be playing a Game 1 in 36 hours.
Right. They want to get this done so they can get as much rest as possible. And I'm looking at Karl Anthony Towns here. He got more touches in that last game, but he only took 7 shots in Game 5. So how do the Knicks plan to utilize him tonight?
Malika, it could be very much more of the same. If you look at the last 2 games, the triple-double in Game 4, he only had 10 shots in that game. He had 6 assists in Game 5, only 7 shots. That is a healthy diet of at least usage for a guy like Karl Anthony Towns, Malika. When you look at the Knicks offense, their best 2 performances have come with Karl being the hub, getting Jalen Brunson off the ball, giving OG Anunoby better shots. Maybe this is a formula for this particular series and something that they can carry on to the Eastern Conference semifinals.
Vince Goodwill, thank you so much for the insight. I know you got to join the 1s and 2s now. We're going 1
there you go.
and 2 and 3. Come on, Vince. There it is.
Only on the 2s and 4s. Only on the 2s and 4s.
He's been out there in Atlanta for about a week and a half now, too. You don't think I know.
Vince, enjoy the game tonight. We appreciate it. Perk, you're just, I was just trying to, the extra time in Atlanta, that's his business.
Yeah, that's my guy, though. You know I love him.
Perk, the one thing you want to see from the Knicks offense tonight, it's not joining the dance routine. It's what?
You know what Rue is? Rue? You know what Rue is?
I don't.
I can't
Okay, so it's crazy because you lived in New Orleans for a minute, right?
No, I did not live in New Orleans. I spent some time there.
Spent some time there.
Yeah.
Okay. Roux is like gravy, and they use that to make a gumbo.
Okay.
Right? And in order to make a great
gumbo?
your roux got to be right?
Yeah.
It's a
gotta get the right roux.
It's a down south thing. Mike Brown has the roux for his gumbo.
Okay.
Don't go switch it up. You got the recipe.
There you go.
The recipe is right there. You used it in game 4, and you used it in game 5, and you won in great fashion, right? It's the pecking order is there. Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson are your 1-2 punch. Everybody else falls in line. Josh Hart has become your defensive stopper.
Yeah.
Don't change anything. The adjustments is not on Mike Brown. The adjustments is on Quinn Snyder and the Atlanta Hawks. But you have the recipe, and you got to feature Karl Anthony Towns. It's not about his shot attempts. It's about him initiating the offense because guess what? When you get that version of Karl Anthony Towns that's feeling good,
You got good gumbo.
you got damn good gumbo, but you also go get damn good defense.
Yeah.
And the Hawks just don't have an answer for it. They trying Kuminga. They trying every single person in the world, but Karl Anthony Towns draws so much attention.
Right.
Because his ability to shoot the ball, and all of a sudden he hitting backdoor cutters.
Yes, and defense is what I want to speak on. That's how I think the Knicks have got back into the series or took the lead in the series because defensively.
You used to guard too.
I used to guard a little bit.
People look at you as just a shooter, but you.
I guard a little bit. But Josh Hart has been the key to me this series in locking up or limiting C.J. McCollum. With those back spasms, that might change. C.J. McCollum has done his job. They need Jalen Johnson to step up. They need Nickeil Alexander-Walker to step up. But if they defensively keep iterating these guys or being deflections and irritating them, Jose Alvarado, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, that's what kind of got them the lead and limiting Atlanta. If they can continue to do that, this series is over. They should be done in 6 and get a couple rest days before that Saturday game 1 of the Eastern Conference semis.
What's the job of Jalen Brunson?
Big body Brunson.
Well, the job of Big Body Brunson is, if I'm Mike Brown, I want Karl Anthony Towns to give me everything he got offensively in the first, second, and third quarter. Then, Big Body Brunson earned the name Big Body Brunson
Plus play of the year.
He's able to close games. So if you get to the fourth quarter and it's a possession-by-possession game, you have one of the best closers in the game that loves to do it on the road. And by the way, he would never say this, and I tried to pull it out of him when I went on this podcast. But Jalen Brunson got a little beef over there with one of them players that he don't like on the Atlanta Hawks. So, yeah, it's been real.
Okay, so he's got the gumbo and the tea covered over here. All right, so we have, 6 game 6s? How many series do we think are going to go to 7,
I think 3.
I got 2.
3?
I think 3. I'm going to go 50%.
All right.
That Detroit and Orlando series going 7, and Rockets and Lakers are going 7.
So you think